Hey everybody, how's it going? It's your man here, Caterade5, and today I'm back with a 5-minute review where we look at a fan game in under 5 minutes. As always, remember that this is my completely subjective opinion. Let's get to it. Today, we're looking at Pokemon Little Academy by Never This Again, who's also developed Pokemon Rising Earth and Pokemon Lost in Time. Little Academy literally and virtually sends the player to a wealthy boarding school to learn more about battling, but also accidentally releases a curse when playing with the other students. Overall, I really enjoyed playing through this game due to the strength of its dialogue and absence of any major problems. The game starts off strong with an adorable title screen and continues as an underrated game graphically. There are other cool graphical touches on top of that title screen, despite the default essentials, tile sets, and overworld. I thought that the final boss sprite was well made, and I also thought that the lightning effect during the battle was cool, though I'm not sure if that's a default essentials asset. Finally, I thought that the RGB saturation filters in the dreams and the shadows at nighttime were enjoyable as well. Another aspect that I thought that was underrated was the music. Some may be upset that all the themes were taken from other Pokemon games, but I thought all the themes fit their vibe and setting well. Specifically, I loved the nighttime schoolground theme and the theme in the final room. The latter one was bone-chilling. And before we continue, I just want to touch on the mapping. Well, I don't have any specific thoughts on it. The mapping is very solid and nothing special. No issues here. I do have to touch on some of the nitpicks that I had, but again, I didn't have any major issues. Probably the most minor in my opinion, but I wish that the partner mechanic would have been taken advantage of when the player is exploring the chroma caves with Cameron. That mechanic is really underutilized and I would have loved to see it here. Secondly, it was pretty hard to read the text when the player is getting the ancient hammer and chisel. The text color and tile colors clash quite a bit, and considering the fast text exit plugin that was included with the game, I was exited out of the dialogue before I had the chance to read it. Finally, the thing that probably upset me the most here were the tile puzzles. I'm not a fan of the more complex kinds where you have to rotate the pieces or where you have to switch their spots. Maybe I'm just dumb, but the more complex tile puzzles really frustrate me. But that's it for nitpicks. Now, I really want to highlight how this game sticks to its aesthetic in so many ways, and how that's reflected in the story and writing. Being a student going to a boarding school, having the entire game take place at low levels under 20 really fit. And as an aside, I thought the balancing was really on point. The battles got tough when they were supposed to, and having the EXP all encouraged the player to have a full team. With that out of the way though, this aesthetic of being at a boarding school I thought was reflected super well with the dialogue of the students, especially those who lived in the dorms. There was some good banter and I could tell the personalities of each individual student. Another thing that I thought was cool and that fit this aesthetic was that pop quiz. It's something that can only ever happen in a school setting, and I thought it was translated to the Pokemon universe pretty well. Finally, I want to touch on the plot, which had this mysterious tone that I quite enjoyed. One thing that I want to point out is how a lot of the story is shown and not told. For example, in the beginning, when the Forbidden is released out of its room, or in the very last scene. Also, the plot can represent how our minds play games with us, which is great if that was like a hidden meaning in the story. But I think my favorite part is how the Forbidden is just written. It has this vague, generalized, and melancholic tone that really elevates its character in my opinion. Ultimately, I think this is a really underrated game from this jam, and I think it deserves more playing. I wish Never This Again the best of luck in future jams and on the continued development of Lost in Time. As always, make sure to mock punch that like button and of course subscribe if you have not, but that's it for today everybody. This is Caterade5 signing out. Thanks for watching everybody and have yourselves a good day.